Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, that was an amazing freestyle, yo.
I really appreciate it, seriously.
To be honest, how long you been rapping?
I would say about 1.5 years.
That's it?
Yes. I actually started out with doing like poetry that I don't share with no one.
Okay.
And one day I was writing, it was Sandra Bland.
Okay.
That whole situation was happening and I wrote about that. And it was my husband, he's just like, hey, that would sound dope on a beat. And I'm like, what? That'd be weird, I've never done that. Like, are you sure? And we just did it. And of course, naturally, I had a lot of fear. What are people gonna say? Not only just like everybody from both sides, the Muslim community being like, what are you doing rapping? And then everybody else being like, what is she doing rapping?
Right,
you know?
right.
But I let go of the fear, put it out, and literally like a day later, Diddy posted it in the shade room, and then just everybody was posting, and I just was like, wow. And it's just interesting, like how, you know, we let fear stop us from doing a lot of things, and it really is just false evidence appearing real. And yeah, that's pretty much how that started. But that was like 1.5 years ago, and that was the very first piece that I ever put out.
Yeah.
And from then on, that's just been it.
Now, you know, I'm sorry if I started the interview out that way. I just thought the freestyle was amazing. By the time you see this interview, you already seen the freestyle. First and foremost, we got Neelam in the building. We made our way all the way down to LA to, you know, check with her and see what she got going on musically and everything that's going on with her. Yeah, to go into the interview, you got a lot going on. Musically, outside of music, fashion, you breaking up down a lot of barriers. You standing for a lot of positive things that we do on this show. And this is what we do here. You represent culture the way we like it. You know what I'm saying? You do it in the manner that we want to highlight. So that's why we, you know, we're happy that you joined us.
Thank you so much. Right. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Now, as far as your music goes, now, since your big blow up with everything happening, what's the direction you took with your music? What did you decide to do with your music as far as your lane?
Well, like to me, it's really important for music to reflect the times we're in. So, you know, I always like to just, not that it's like super important, but I always care about the message. I care about what's going on, my perspective, you know, putting that in it. And just being real and being authentic, you know. It's awkward for me because I'm like kind of carving a space for myself because it's like there's not a lot of female rappers that look like me.
That's a good point.
As far as like the way I am. Actually, I'm like the total opposite. I'm like a faux pas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, naturally, if you're a young girl or anyone trying to be a rapper, you study like, okay, so how do the female rappers rap? What do they talk about? How do they dress? And I'm not doing the prototype. Right. So, you know, naturally that's like weird. Right. But first of all, and let me say this really quick, this is off subject. I'm a doer, not a talker. So please forgive me if I'm really awkward. Because I
we prefer those type of people.
That's dope. That's dope. That's very interesting. I'm Muslim myself, so I know the stigmas and I know the stigmas that come around like a female rapper artist, and I know how challenging that could be for you.
Very.
Just talk to me about that because there's a lot of young girls out there that look up to you, and you're like your fan base is crazy. You got a bunch of people that's like supporting you, all the stuff that you put out. Now, let's just talk about the adversity you face when it comes to someone that's like in the 1.5 years that you've been rapping and dealing with the industry, because you're now part of the industry. You're in the industry. People are familiar with your face. People are familiar with your brand. What's some of the things you noticed with the industry and being a female rapper that you kind of took back by?
Or an untraditional female rapper.
Right. Well, like I said, naturally, if you're not like following a certain prototype, you'll have people who tell you like, hey, if you want to be successful, you should do this, you should do that. Like, you know, because even though by the grace of God, you know, I've gotten a following and everything, it's still a very tough journey. You know, like I always say that like we're taking the stairs while elevators are going up. But you know, if you care more about your message than about like fame and fortune, then you're just cool with taking them stairs. You'll be like, you won't get tired climbing. So I just focus more on that. And like you said, like people, the fact that there is someone out there that could possibly look up to me because they don't, you know, representation matters in all aspects. And for girls to be able to see someone like me and be like, whoa, we can be in that arena, that means a lot to me. That honestly will be when I'm feeling like low and like tired and being like, oh, I want to quit, when I'll read a little DM or a message or a comment and I'll be like, oh, I gotta keep going because it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
Yeah. So you from Seattle originally?
Yeah, I was born in Seattle, Washington, but I've been in LA since 2001. I've been in LA as far as my lifetime longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how has it been with the music career in LA? How is it, this is like, it's a lot going on in LA,
yeah.
you feel what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
just spoke about you having a pure message. How does that intertwine with the lights and the showtime of LA? How does that work for you?
It's interesting because I'll be at a party or a industry this or that, and naturally I'll be the only person that looks like me in the room.
Yeah.
But in the beginning I used to be kind of nervous about that, like, oh, I'm like the outcast. But now I really embrace it. I really love it, and it's been more positive than negative. People will be like, yo, you look dope. I've never seen someone like this,
Right.
And that, that's cool because it's like a little implant of something different. And I like doing that, you know.
Trailblazer.
Yeah, I guess.
So when she says she be in these little parties, these are not little parties.
They're not little parties in the
We're talking
hills.
about the Jay-Z, Jay Electronica.
People like us not in
we're
those
not
parties.
invited to these parties, right? And I just want to highlight that real quick, right? So you made such a huge climb in such a short amount of time. Not saying you haven't put in the work, because the work comes in. You're being brave enough to do what you do, but the success that came from it and being in these rooms with these people, how's that been? Like, we don't know. So we talk to the independent artists all the time, the women that want to get into the industry, stuff that they see you do, they look up to it, they're like, yo, I can't wait until my time is here for me to be in those kind of rooms, these kind of conversations. Like, how has that been for you?
The best thing about it is when someone you really look up to will say like, hey, you're dope. And it's like, what? You're like, oh my God, you know, okay.
Yeah.
And that's really cool because, naturally you're just like, I don't know, I'm a really weird, like, how do I say it? I'm kind of like introvert, so I'm not like a boastful person or be like, I don't know, if people be walking through the room like they're just, but I'm just really kind of low key and chill. To get noticed in those arenas, that's like super weird for me, and I'm really grateful and really humbled by it, to be honest. And you're in a room full of people who influence the world, and being able to be yourself authentically.
It's still influence.
That's big.
That's like amazing to me, because it's
big.
like, regardless, I'm just gonna be me in this, wherever I show up. It's
huge.
just me, so that's important to me.
So now you spoke about being an introvert. So how important is it for you to put a message in your music, still being an introvert? Because sometimes, I'm an introvert too. We might we just gonna play the back.
Yes.
We're not about to,
I'm way more comfortable playing it back.
So it's like, what makes you wanna address certain things through the music?
Right. The world be having me hot. I be really mad. And it's just a great way to express yourself. To be honest, it's like therapy. And then when you get the reaction from people who are like, hey, I needed that, then you just feel more, I don't know, it's more motivation to keep doing it. And I don't know, I work very small team, literally 2 people. Like, even being on here was such a like, oh my God, I'm about to come in here.
And we really appreciate it. We really appreciate it.
But it's just like, I like to just be in a zone with no one. That's why I guess it's easy for me to put it out, because it's like, no, I was really introverted when I did all this. And then you're just hearing it, But it's a weird balance. It's crazy.
I think it's amazing. I kind of want to highlight that for a second. Again, our show catered a lot to the up and coming artists.
That's what I love about y'all, to be honest. That's why I followed y'all. That's why I just been watching y'all forever, because I think that's the dopest thing about y'all.
Appreciate that. And like I said, your message and even hearing your perspective now of like what you're doing and how you're doing it, I want them to like see this, because we on the outside, we're like, okay, she's like this amazing. I'm like, this amazing artist has all this, success or image of success around her with all these people that's in her circle. And it's good for us to present your story out to the fans, because a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years back, just this up and coming artist yourself, and people didn't know who you were. And now you're in a space where people are like, yo, she's successful. How did she do that? You know what I mean? And I want to kind of talk about that real quick. Our show is based a lot on freestyles. We capture artists and they tell moments in their life through freestyles. Whether it has a lot of substance in it, or they can lyrically really play with words. And you blew up off of something like that, where everyone kind of took it and put it out there. And I always highlight the fact of how underrated freestyles are, whether you do it here or you just was home and you did it your way. Meg Thee Stallion,
such a raw thing.
It's such to put out, and success does come from it. Yeah. And I want to highlight that real quick, because as she just mentioned, one of her freestyles went viral to the point that Diddy and everything else that came after that in the beginning. So I wanted to just quickly highlight that, and it is very important, the conversation we're having, because there's a lot of up and coming artists that watch this show, and they're gonna be watching this interview just to hear your perspective of what's happening right now in the industry and with you musically. Now, just get into that music wise. Are you independent or are you signed?
I'm definitely independent.
Okay.
Yes, and I have Rock Nation management.
Dope.
But I don't have a label, and I work really hard by myself.
That's dope. Just talk to me about that management, because I don't think a lot of people understand what a management.
That dynamic.
Yeah, what it means to have a management deal. I hear it all the time, and I kind of know a little bit about it, but I don't think the independent artists really know what it means to have a management deal. Can you talk about it real?
It depending on who you are is what it'll mean.
Right.
And when you're, God, how do I describe this? To be honest, it don't mean a lot.
Right.
You do what you gotta do.
You still gotta put in that work.
Yeah, period. You gotta,
regardless, management or not, you still gotta put that final
question. Is that kind of just what gets you through doors, and then you kind of gotta follow through? Or is it a situation of, you feel like that's just behind you, who's pushing you, supporting you in a sense?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
It's like a mixture of both.
Okay.
You gotta follow. You can sign to whoever you want, but if you ain't gonna put in the work, it's just gonna be whatever your hands is. Of course, I don't have the machine or the No, with me, there's no like playlisting and numbers and magic and budget, and that it's just it's what it is, you know. And yeah, it's just interesting. But I do admit, like, having people care about the name of, oh, okay, you are Rock Nation, so that name is like clout to get you certain things. Certain doors, right. But it is on you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I hope that was weird.
That's a gem though, because that needs to be understood. A lot of people are doing the management deals without.
Right.
And you know, like Benny the Butcher is a good friend of mine, and he's, they just signed their management deal with Griselda with Rock Nation, and I love the fact of how they're keeping the certain substance near their brand. Right. I love the fact that I didn't know you were signed management-wise to Rock Nation, and the fact that you just said that, it tells me a lot about Rock Nation as a brand. And obviously, the owner behind it, he has a particular thing he wants to portray.
Right.
And having you, Griselda, it's certain thing he's putting out there. It's the same thing we're doing here on our platform. We attach ourselves and we invite.
Very close to the culture.
Right. And it's not about, for me, I said this in my last interview, it's not so much about we don't support this type of hip hop, but it's more about balance, right? If there's a city girl, there should be a Neelam. If there's a
we used to be able to listen to Lauryn Hill and Lil' Kim on the radio. They're getting tired of both of their songs, and now there's no balance. That we don't have that, you know.
Right, and that's been my thing on the show, and it always goes back into don't complain, come up with a solution. And this was our solution. You know what I'm saying?
I respect that.
Yeah, and you know, to take it a step further, it goes back into like what you have going on, what you're doing. We fully support what you're doing. Whatever projects you're working on, you're more than welcome to always come on our platform to express yourself.
You guys are the
freely
best.
and do what you got to do. And it's important to us to make sure we highlight what you have going on and the substance you're saying. And he just called it woke music. I just say it's the other side of hip hop. There's no way hip hop is ass shaking and 24/7. That's not hip hop.
I like to say
24/7.
no clickbait.
No clickbait.
A lot of people don't even want to do interviews because they feel like a certain type of, they're going to be perceived a certain type of way. So we've run into plenty of artists that is just like, I don't want to do it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like giving people that real perspective, and they understand that they're not going to get a headline with us, but they are going to get the genuine, which is what most people want.
I respect that.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's really, well, for people like me who, you know, I don't really have, you know, the huge backing and stuff like that, for you to make, you know, a place for me to be able to be supported, that's everything. Like, you guys are the real MVP. Anyone like that who support, you know, artists who are different, you know, that's everything. So I appreciate that.
We appreciate you, and you know, just to let the fans know musically and what you have coming up. If you have anything that you want to talk about.
I got like 3 songs that I'm about to drop. I'm gonna probably drop 2 next month, this October, inshallah. And yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. There's so much inspiration because there's so much going on. So it's like, it's a constant flow of like stuff on my mind, you know? So yeah.
So just before we wrap up, I want to ask you, have you ever thought about doing a collab with Rhapsody?
Absolutely. First of all, Rhapsody is
I feel like
iconic.
Bars I-95 alum.
Yeah, we have.
I love her to death.
Alumna.
And yeah, God willing, that's gonna happen.
I feel like you guys will make an extraordinary
That's my
record.
sister, and she's amazing, and she's, you know, she's everything, period.
Yo,
So,
Rap,
yeah.
I always tell you, yo, Rap, listen, you got to pull this one through for us. We want to hear this collab.
Let's do it.
It's going to be a moment in hip-hop that people are never going to
Period.
forget. And I want to see the video. I want to be there.
Period. Yes.
Shout out to Rap. She came to CT.
Yes.
To show love to us.
Definitely
show
seen the
love.
queen here. We'll see her wherever she goes. We follow because we need to be supporting Rhapsody and anything like that. But yeah.
Fact.
Well, Neelam, if there's anything else you want to let the fans know, up-and-coming artist, a female Muslim, my sisters that's out there, they watching. Any message that you want to give them before we wrap up?
Just do you and stay true.
It's dope. That's dope.
Simple.
We are signing out, man. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is AB.
My name is C's, man, signing out. This is Bars I-95 live from LA. We got Neelam in the building.
Skills over politics. That means bring your pen game, not your name.
Subscribe now.